Welcome, my friends, to the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast. I'm Deborah Deras, your host. Each week, you'll hear from top experts in the speaking industry who will share their insider secrets. Learn what works and what doesn't by hearing real stories of success and failure. My intention is to be your speaking coach to help you reach your goals faster and easier. I believe you are the messenger for the message. So thanks for tuning in, and let's get started.
Deborah Deras, your host and peak performance speaker. And I have a treat for you today because we are interviewing someone that I met that is near and dear to my heart and that is going to be so informational, inspirational, and transformational to you. I have Miss Beth Friedman. She is the founder of the Meetings of the Mind and is on a mission to educate the masses about the benefits of practicing mindfulness and meditation. She's doing this by connecting corporations, planners, event programmers, and businesses with talented, experienced, and interesting teachers and experts, reaching a vast audience of end users through the events they attend, communities they are part of, and from savvy employers who make their employees' overall wellness a priority. Please help me welcome Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast, Beth.
Hi.
Hi
It's so
there.
nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for making the time. I know you're busy and you're speaking. Meeting Planner Bureau is growing and expanding, and so I just really value your perspective because on this podcast we've had experts, we've had speakers, but we haven't had someone on the other side that is a meeting planner. And I think your perspective is so needed for the experts that want to get their message out to the masses. But before we get started on your business, people want to know about you, Beth, because everybody has a vision, everyone has entrepreneurial dreams, but it
Right.
takes a special kind of person to actually put the vision into reality and to have the guts. So I just want to know about what led you to go from corporate life to launching your own business.
Well, it didn't happen overnight, but my corporate life was spent in sales. And when you are in sales, bless you, when you are in sales, you're in essence running your own business. And you've got a territory, you've got budgets and goals to meet, you've got a lot of autonomy and independence. And it feels a lot like entrepreneurship, except you're doing it all for somebody else. And I did that for over 20 years, and it became stressful and exhausting. And, I thought maybe I could do this for me. And maybe at the same time, I could actually do something good in the world. And so, hence, Meetings of the Mind came to be out of the stress that I was living in corporate life because I began to meditate and I saw results so quickly that I thought I better share this with the world. And that's basically how I went from being a corporate person to wanting and executing my own thing.
And I totally relate to you. When I quit my job, which was a government job, not a corporate job, my boss and I both quit actually because we ended up creating a business within the state of California, and we
Uh-huh.
were doing job fairs, and we realized, wow, if we're going to work 12 hours a day, put
Mm-hmm.
all this blood, sweat, and tears, we might as well do it for our own business.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, if we're going to stress out, let's focus on something.
Exactly.
Let's just focus on something we love, and it's not about stressing out, because one of the things you said was you found relief and results right away through meditation. Let's just talk about that for a minute. For
Okay.
those people that don't know the benefits of meditation or what meditation is, can you just talk about, what you were like before, what you did, and how your life is now as a
Yes.
meditator?
Oh, sure. So back in 2015, I hit a crossroads and I was unhappy in my job. I was very, very stressed out. I had goals to meet. I really just wasn't sleeping. My partner in life, Joe, was not enjoying my company, and it was really coming to a head. And it became a moment of I really need to do something different. And I didn't want to medicate or self-medicate or or just drink my way out of it, or which obviously never helps anyway. And, Joe was a meditator for the entirety of our relationship. And now it's, 14 years. He tried to get me to go about a decade ago, and it did not resonate with me. The teacher didn't connect with me. It was, sitting up straight with your fingers up in the air, and that just was not me. And I passed on it, and I gave the excuse that everybody always gives, which is I can't turn my mind off, I can't stop thinking, I can't sit still, and that was my mindset. But in the desperation of I need to do something different, I went to this drop-in meditation studio that opened up not too long before this happened. And it's the first of its kind. It's called Unplugged Meditation in Santa Monica, California. And you walk into this place and it's beautiful and it's white and it's crisp and it's secular. And you don't have to sit up straight. They've got cushions where you can recline, and teachers that had all different kinds of approaches and practices. And I went in there and I bought a 2-week pass for $40 that you can go as often as you want. And I ended up going every single day. And I just couldn't believe how quickly I felt differently. And meditation is not turning off your mind. That's a misnomer. What most people should understand is that the idea is to embrace your thoughts, to notice your thoughts, but to not get caught up in your thoughts. And the practice is to find space between your thoughts. And there's all kinds of practices and interesting ways to get there, but it takes very little time. It costs nothing. I mean, you can join a studio like that, but there's a million apps that you could install in your phone that don't cost anything. And really, you find that when you're sitting in traffic, all of a sudden, you don't get quite as angry if somebody's driving too slowly in front of you, or, if somebody is just making the line at the supermarket go slowly. Those are the things that you start to notice. And then it turns into, wow, I'm feeling more productive. Wow, my creative juices are flowing. Just all kinds of benefits. And at the end of the day, you find your calm. The saying that I live by these days is calm is a superpower. And it's true, because if you can be still, if you can find quiet, it will change your life. It'll change the lives of people around you, because when you think about it, when cortisol is coursing through your veins and you're stressed and angry and frustrated, it really is not good for the people around you. Like I was saying before, Joe was not enjoying my company. And that changes. And so by practicing mindfulness and meditation, you're not just helping yourself, you're helping all the people around you. And I go so far as to say that it's something that could really change the world, because if everybody did it, everybody would be nicer, and
It's true.
and it's important to know that. And so it impacts everything. It impacts your life, your family's life, the workplace, leadership. If you think about your boss and your boss's boss, and how, stress trickles down, it's
Right.
important in leadership to practice mindfulness. So, that's what it is, and that's where it came from, and that's hopefully a decent explanation.
Yes, and I mean, I am so with you. I wrote a book called Confessions of an Adrenaline Addict, because I was totally just doing, and eventually crashed and burned very early in
Mhm.
my career, like 26, hospitalized. And I went to a psychiatrist, and they wanted to put me on medication. And I turned within. I didn't really, I wasn't an expert meditator at that time, although I was always interested in it, because my mom had me in intuition class when I was 8 years old.
Mhm.
And in my reflection, I heard meditation is your medication. And I
Oh,
started
good one.
yeah, and I started a practice, and I don't recommend this for everyone. It was just for me. And so, if you need medication, nothing wrong with it. But for me, the meditation allowed my mind to slow down enough, and my nervous system, because when you're adrenaline, you're fight and flight, and that cortisol create so much havoc to a point of like autoimmune disorders. Like I was having skin
Exactly.
conditions that they were calling fibromyalgia, that they were calling chronic fatigue, that I was like on my way to all of these diseases, dis-ease, because, but it was all controllable if I could just still my mind. So I am so with you.
And this is all science-based, by the way.
Oh
It's
yeah.
really important for everybody to know that this isn't some woo-woo thing. This is neuroscience. This is science. This is all fact. And I mean, think about it. If you even, as a speaker, I imagine that everybody in your audience might feel a little tense before they get up in front of a room full of people. And if you feel it, it's a physical thing. You feel your nerves. Or if you're reliving a conversation that you've had in the past that was unpleasant, or you're worried about something going to happen, you feel it in your bones, and it is unhealthy. What you said
Yeah.
before, it manifests itself in physical disease. And so it's free. It's available to everybody, and it's easy, and everybody should do it.
And once you start a practice of it, you can totally tell the difference because, like you said, you're more irritable, you're more frustrated, you're more impatient, and your productivity is impaired. So, if you do it for nothing else than to be more productive, creative, and to be a beneficial presence in the world, do it. So,
And you know what? But it feels good too. It's
yes,
relaxing. It's not a task. It's not something that's like working out where most people are thinking, oh God, I gotta go to the gym. It's peaceful. It's
yeah,
wonderful.
it's a vacation in your mind.
It's brain
It's a vacation from your mind.
yeah, and it's brain exercise. It's fabulous. I highly recommend, obviously.
Yes. So when you in your speakers bureau, which is called Meetings of the Mind,
Mhm.
correct? Meetingsofthemind.com, right?
Correct.
When you're looking for experts, when you're
Mhm.
looking for speakers, what are you looking for to have them to be ready to be in your agency, to be in a bureau for those
Okay.
speakers out there listening?
So think of this as, on the client side, a resource to go to. I'm a consultant, and so I will talk to a company, and I will ask them questions about their demographics, whether it be employees or attendees of an event or a meeting. So we talk about who's attending, what their goals are. Do you want to, is it going to be an executive retreat where we're talking about leadership, leadership skills? That will have an impact on who I recommend. And so I am curating a list of speakers that are diverse. So that means that I need people who will appeal to bankers, but I will also need speakers that appeal to millennial tech companies and everything in between. So I'm looking for speakers who are compelling, who know their stuff, who have experience in this topic, who are experts, who ideally are published authors, who have great social media followings. Basically, I'm vetting speakers for the end users and the clients. So I want to represent the best of the best. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who are passionate, who are enthusiastic, who are fun. Um, and I am describing Deborah, maybe just a little bit. Um, but I'm looking for diversity because I need this roster of speakers to appeal to a wide range.
I love your clarity. I always say clarity is cash, and your niche is so needed. It is so fantastic. And it's so interesting to me that you mentioned the social media piece, because
Mm-hmm.
as you know, I teach social media marketing workshops, and I tell people that in today's day and age, if you don't have a social media presence,
Mm-hmm.
people don't take you seriously. I recently, from my last podcast, had a radio station contact me looking for speakers. And they asked me, what is the name of the speaker? We want to look at their social media before they even went to the website,
Right.
before they even looked at the Speakers Bureau. So, can you tell me why social media is so important for meeting planners?
Well, it tells your story for you. Um,
Ah,
if you're doing it properly, and I'm still learning. I'm learning from Deborah. But you're selling yourself right there, and it's an opportunity for you to reach out to whoever your audience is, and then some, to whatever your area of expertise is. So you're putting out there what these potential clients want to know. How expert are you at what it is that you say you're an expert about?
I love it. Yes. And do you hear what she's saying? Listen to Beth. I've been saying this on every single podcast that you as speakers are experts. People are looking for experts. So you can't just put it on your resume or put on your LinkedIn. You have to show people that you're expert by presenting your expertise on video, on live, in your social media. I love it. I love it. I love it. So tell me, what are the fatal flaws that speakers make that take them out of the running to be the next best meeting of the mind speaker, Beth?
I think the biggest mistake most well, sales is scary. And
Mhm.
most people are not comfortable selling, especially creative people.
Right.
And they're experts at what their experts are, and they're great at conveying in a speaking situation whatever it is that their area of expertise is, but they're not great at sales. And I know tons of teachers and experts who have private practices, and that most of their business comes from word of mouth. And I think the biggest mistake that speakers make is that they don't follow up on prospective clients. For example, if you're at a speaking gig and it goes great, and you have audience members come up to you afterwards and they say,
Right.
"Oh my gosh, I know so many people who would benefit from hearing about that." That is somebody who you take their information, you
Mhm.
put it in your CRM or however you organize your database, and you follow up. You have to make yourself a salesperson. And and I think it's a fatal flaw when you don't, because you're limiting yourself. And so you need to take time, probably every day, to really look for what could possibly be the next gig. And that doesn't mean just following up on the leads from speaking engagements. I mean, you could go online and you could look at any conference that you think you'd be perfect for, and you can see, maybe who spoke in the past, and call them. Be proactive and say, "Oh, I saw that last year so and so spoke, and I do this and I can contribute that." And just go online, look at the conferences you want to speak at, that you think that you are right for, and just go for it, and don't be scared.
And I love what you said, that as speakers, you're salespeople. 2 podcasts ago, one of my speakers said, as a speaker, if you're not comfortable with marketing, you're going to be broke
Yeah.
because it's a very competitive industry. And there was a time, I know for me, back in the early
Mhm.
2000s, that my phone was just ringing from my website. But it's not like that anymore because influencers and celebrities are now speakers. So it's and everybody's an author because of self-publishing. So
Mhm.
if you're not proactive, like you said, in reaching out, and don't be scared that sales is something that, is a bad word. It's really service. When you think about it, these organizations are looking for speakers. And if
Mhm.
you're helping make their life easier by
Mhm.
presenting yourself as an answer to their problem. But
Mhm.
for those of you that don't want to do that sales, that's where being in a speakers bureau like yours is fantastic. But I know all speakers bureaus are not created equal.
No.
Some of them make you pay a fee. Can you just talk about how to know which bureau is right for you and how to approach bureaus, or what's the way to do that?
Well, I mean, you have to use your instincts about that. I mean, I would never say that one bureau is bad and the other is good. But what's right for you? A lot of speakers bureaus just have so many speakers, and they cover
Uh,
so many topics. Part of the reason why I created Meetings of the Mind and I kept it to a very niche topic was to not do that. So while I will have a long roster, for the reasons I told you before, um, it's not mixed up with a whole bunch of topics. But not all speakers bureaus charge fees. I mean, there are also some that ask for exclusivity, but I imagine that's at the very top end.
right.
Um, but you also have to manage your expectations with a speakers bureau. What are they
Yes.
doing for you? How are they marketing you? Are you still not getting gigs? Are you getting gigs? So you have to monitor it. At Meetings of the Mind, what we're doing is, I'm vetting these speakers and I'm adding them to the roster, but I'm not charging anything. I'm saying to you that I have you here, and when I find the right fit, I will contact you. So speakers bureaus are not all the same. They have different ways of going about their business.
And what collateral material are you looking for? Like the bare minimum that people must have to even consider them.
So the benchmarks are, it's not a black and white thing. It's also a vibe that I'll get.
Right.
So I'll be talking to everybody, but like I said, I want to see videos where there's energy.
So
Videos
video.
are
They need to have a
videos
video.
are important. I need to see what you
Right.
do. I need to have video content that I might be able to share on my social media. I might need content. I actually have some speakers who sent me books that they might use as add-ons at their speaking gigs. So I need to know just whatever you have to offer. It's not a real benchmark where you need to have 100,000 followers on Instagram. I'm
Right.
going to look not just at how many followers you have, but I'll look at engagement. So
Yeah.
you might only have 5,000 followers, but when you post something, 2,000 of them are
Right.
engaging with you. That's check. That's
I
a check.
love that you said that, Beth. When I teach social media workshops, I say, in real estate, it's location, location, location. In
Mhm.
social media, the benchmark is engagement, which is
Right.
comments and shares,
Yes.
not just followers, because people buy followers. You know that.
Exactly. The bots. So yeah, I'm looking for connection. I'm looking for passion. I'm looking for to be inspired, because at the end of the day, as a speaker, you need to inspire your audience. So that's what I'm looking for in the speakers.
And when it comes to the video, because I
Mhm.
know you probably get millions of submissions or hundreds of thousands of submissions, whatever. I mean, what length of video are you looking for to be able to get a true sense of that person? How long?
Oh, it depends. I can't watch an entire video, but if all you have is a long video, you can tell me where to look to see where. But just a minute, really. A minute would
A
be great,
minute.
because a minute I could actually post. If it's something that's interesting and compelling, I can share it on my social media as I grow that and work on that, like Deborah is coaching me to do. And but not too long. Don't send me like a 45-minute and think I'll be able to watch that.
Yeah, and so you hear that? Because meeting planners' times are very valuable. They're,
Mhm,
sales calls. You want to make sure that your videos are short and sweet. 1 minute. Did you hear that? Back in the day, Beth, when I first started speaking,
mhm,
I had a 14-minute sizzle reel. And then I went down to like 5 minutes. And
mhm.
now I'm down to 2 minutes. And now maybe I should get down to 1 minute. So that's really fantastic because I coach, speakers in the Be a Paid Speaker Now online academy. And I'm like, get some video reel of you speaking at different places and make sure it's in front of an audience, not in front of your refrigerator.
Right,
Because you
right, right.
want to see people interacting with an audience and how engaging they are in front of a crowd as
Well,
well.
this is exactly the same thing as putting your sales hat on. You
Right.
are a product.
Hmm.
You have to see yourself as a product. And so put yourself in the buyer's shoes. What would be interesting, you know? Um, just keep it interesting. Keep it interesting.
Exactly. Put all that charisma and passion that you have on the stage in your video.
Yes.
So, what do you see the future of the meeting industry, and where do you think, how do you think speakers can be better prepared for the changes that are going on?
Well, one of the trends is experience, experience, experience.
Ah,
Yes. So, what planners are looking to create at conventions and big, where there are trade shows and all conferences and all those things are more than just talk. Things that might engage the audience, things that are interactive. That's one thing. So think experience. How could I turn this conversation into an activity? If that's possible, but that's one thing.
ooh,
Experiences are like
experience.
are a a keyword. That's a big one. Also, I mean, wellness is a big one. You know, I went to a conference yesterday. It was the Women in Green conference. It was amazing. There were probably 400 or 500 women, all in the industry of green. So inspiring. But in the room where this conference took place, it was the coolest thing. In the corner, they had stationary bikes.
Oh my God, I love it.
They had stationary bikes. And so, you know, throughout the conference, when you're sitting there and you're listening to the panels and the speakers, you can get up and you can get your blood moving a little bit. And it was awesome. And they were always used. But wellness in general, that means that oftentimes at conferences, you see scheduled group runs in the morning. As a speaker, you should be participating in those things because you're meeting people. And then when people see you on the stage, they'll say, oh, I know that guy. And then maybe they'll approach you afterwards and that's a future gig for you. But yeah, there's yoga, there's all these other things. At IMEX, the granddaddy of the event industry's events, they
And
had.
tell them what IMEX stands for so they know.
I
International.
don't even remember what it stands for. But if you
International.
just Google IMEX, IMEX,
Mm-hmm.
and if you want to read about this, actually, it's IMEX 20,000, and was it this year or last year? I'll get that to you. But there's a woman, and her name is Lee Papa, and she is all about mindfulness. And she got up and she did this huge talk. And they also had, I wrote down notes because I didn't want to forget this. So at IMEX, they created a Be Well Lounge. So this was an activation. This was an activation. This was a place, this was a quiet room where people could go. And then one of the talks during the convention was Lee Papa talking about all these things. But that's part of the reason why I'm doing this now, because it's one of the trends in the industry. And, you know, even MPI, I had another note. MPI,
International.
that one I know, Meeting Planners International. Their theme was taking the time to unplug and create white space for brainstorming and insight.
Wow.
So this is something that's, I mean, if you can incorporate, whatever your topic is, if you can incorporate this into it, it would be interesting, I think.
That is so awesome because I am speaking at this conference on mindfulness coming up in Fort Lauderdale, and they asked me if I was going to have a PowerPoint, and I said no. I'm going to facilitate an interactive experience. Like the whole thing is going to be engagement, and for mindfulness, like I have a bell where we do a mindfulness moment, and then I also have maraca when we do a merengue moment. Look at that! So it's going to be very up. And
yeah, get people standing.
That's how life is.
I mean, think about the Tony Robbins events where everybody is
right.
Thousands and thousands of people he has getting up and high-fiving and talking to the person next to them. And
yeah, because in order for you to stay engaged in your mind, you need to be in your body, and that's what mindfulness helps you to be present and mindful in all of your senses. So I'm with your choir. Amen.
I know.
Choir with me.
I know.
I love that. So listen to that. If you want to be the cutting edge keynote speaker that is on the stage, make sure you focus on experience. Make sure you focus on wellness. And is there one more thing? Did I miss it? Or is that it?
Oh, there was, we were talking about wellness. We were talking about experiences. And what else did I say? How can I forget? I had it written down. I guess that was it. Experiences. And wellness.
Yes. So when you are out there looking for new speakers, how would people that are listening to this podcast that maybe want to submit to you, how would they find you?
Right now, you can go to my website, which is www.meetingsofthemind.com. It's meetings with an S. So meetingsofthemind.com. And there is a portal link for you to submit your information. And that's all you do. And you can get in touch with me that way. Or you can email me. My email is beth@meetingsofthemind.com.
And what about organizations that are looking for speakers? What is the process for them?
Well, they can go to my website and call me anytime. You can email me at that same email address. And then there's also a client request portal that's on the website. So you can just submit what you're looking for, which includes things like, the date of your event, what your demographics are, what your budget is, things like that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
all of these insider secrets. I feel like I have a new way of thinking about my approach to being a speaker, with being definitely mindful of my social media and that engagement, definitely being more
Sales,
experiential, sales, knowing that
proactively selling yourself.
exactly, because I think for a long time, and I am guilty of this, Beth, I was just waiting for my phone to ring or for the email, and I was just on a steady. Um, and now it's really, we need to engage and be proactive and be in speakers bureaus like yours so that we can get out there and have our message really make an impact on the world. So thank you so much for having the
Thank
courage to
you.
step out in faith and
This
live
was
your vision.
outside my comfort zone. So, yes, thank you.
Yeah, I know most people are, you're like behind the scenes person, so I appreciate you being in front of the scenes. And I know this is really going to help a lot of people, even people that aren't speakers that want to be entrepreneurs will have the courage to step out and be bold.
And get
So,
out and meditate. Get out and meditate.
oh,
Go do
yes,
that.
I trust me. I wouldn't be able to do half the things I do because my mind is so fast if I didn't
Yeah.
meditate. It wouldn't be slow enough to be focused and to be productive. So I want to thank Beth and thank you all for
Thank you.
listening. If you don't already know, we are not only on iTunes, but we are on Spotify. We are on Google Play. You can catch it on my YouTube channel. And if you love the show, please share it. I always say sharing is caring. And if you would like, I would really appreciate to do an iTunes review. 5 stars, friend. One, two, three, four, five. And tell people why you love the show, because then more people will be able to live their vision. What would the world be like if everyone that had a message was getting it out to the world, was living their purpose, and being abundantly paid to do what they love? That's what the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast is about. And if you're interested in more, I have a Be a Paid Speaker Now online academy at beapaidspeakernow.com. We're also starting a new membership program called Ignite Your Speaking, where you can get lunch and earn, my friends. Not lunch and learn, but lunch and earn. You can eat, no problem. But I'm also going to be facilitating webinars, Facebook Lives, have a private Facebook group where you could get resources to ignite your speaking, go to the next level so you could be in speakers bureaus like Meeting of the Minds and others. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. This is Deborah Deras, your host, speaker, author, reminding you that you are the messenger for the message. And with the power of synergy, what? Anything is possible.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next week for more juicy secrets to get you paid to hit that stage. If you would like to grab my free ebook on how to be a confident speaker, go to www.deborahderas.com/speak now. And remember, you are the messenger for the message. See you next week.